In the heart of the cosmos, a forgotten artifact slumbers, a key to a power that could tilt the scales of the galaxy. Picture this. Dr. Alex Sterling, an unassuming archaeologist, stumbles upon it. A map to an ancient weapon capable of reshaping worlds. As the galactic empires teeter on the edge of a cataclysmic war, Sterling's revelation could be the spark that ignites a new age or plunges the universe into eternal darkness. The clock is ticking for Sterling, whose journey from curious scholar to unwitting savior is fraught with peril. The fate of the galaxy and his own future now rest in his hands. Experience the gripping tale of the secret war of the galactic empires, how one human unleashed a hidden power to conquer the galaxy, where every choice carries the weight of worlds. Is Sterling our last hope for salvation or the harbinger of doom? The answer awaits you. In the grand theatre of the cosmos, a multitude of stars twinkled like diamonds on velvet, each belonging to a civilization with its own tale to tell. The galactic empires, Vrelians, known for their psychic abilities, the Ziran, with their unmatched technological prowess, and the Zeltans, enveloped in arcane mysteries, stood as ancient sentinels, their histories woven into the fabric of space-time. They maintained a delicate equilibrium, an unspoken pact that kept the galaxy in a state of fragile peace. On the fringe of this galactic stage, in a remote outpost christened New Earth, humanity clung to its place among the stars. Dr. Alex Sterling was a mere speck in the vast galaxy, yet his curiosity knew no bounds. As an archaeologist, he sought the echoes of the past, hoping to find the threads that bound humanity to the cosmos. It was during a routine excavation under the twin suns of New Earth that Sterling's life took an unforeseen turn. His team had unearthed what seemed to be an ordinary stone tablet, weathered by time. But as Sterling brushed away the dust, he noticed a peculiar glow emanating from its surface. He reached out, his fingers tracing the etchings. A map, not of stars, but of energy lines, of power. "Look at this," he said, his voice a hushed whisper, as if the tablet could hear. His assistant, Emma, leaned in, her eyes widening at the sight. "It's unlike anything we've seen before." The tablet was more than an artifact. It was a beacon, calling out to something ancient and powerful. Sterling felt a shiver run down his spine as the tablet pulsed with energy, responding to his touch. He knew in that moment that this was no ordinary find. Back at the outpost, Sterling presented his discovery to the governing council. The room was filled with holographic displays, each one showing a different part of the galaxy. Councillor John, an elder statesman with a keen mind, studied the tablet intently. "This could change everything," he said, his voice heavy with the weight of his words. "If what you say is true, this could tip the scales in the galaxy." Sterling nodded, his excitement palpable. "We need to investigate this further. The map seems to lead to a location far beyond our borders." The council agreed, and Sterling was tasked with assembling a team to follow the map's lead. They would venture into the unknown, into the heart of the galaxy's oldest secrets. As Sterling prepared for the journey, he couldn't help but feel a mix of fear and exhilaration. He had always believed that humanity had a greater destiny among the stars, and now he might be the one to uncover it. He thought about the personal stakes, the responsibility he felt to his team and to humanity. This discovery could change everything, and he knew he had to be ready for whatever lay ahead. The team set off, Sterling at the helm of the exploration vessel, the Pegasus. His crew was a diverse group, each with their own skills and dreams. Emma, the tech expert, her fingers dancing over the control panels. Captain Mike, a seasoned pilot with a no-nonsense attitude. And Dr. Sarah, a historian who had spent her life studying the galaxy's forgotten civilizations. As they soared through the void, Sterling gazed out at the endless expanse of space. The tablet, now safely secured in the ship's vault, seemed to hum with anticipation. He knew that whatever they were about to discover would be unlike anything they had ever seen. "Are you ready for this?" Emma asked, her eyes reflecting the stars on the viewport. Sterling smiled, his determination shining through. "We're about to write our names into history, Emma. We're going to uncover the galaxy's greatest secret." And with that, they plunged into the unknown, their hearts filled with hope, and their minds set on the adventure that awaited them. The galaxy watched in silent anticipation as the humans embarked on a journey that would change everything. The discovery of the ancient artifact reverberated through the galaxy like a ripple in a pond, drawing the attention of the galactic empires. The news spread like wildfire, each empire eager to seize the weapon that could shift the balance of power. The Vrelians, the Zyran, and the Zelthans all dispatched their most skilled agents, their orders clear: investigate and secure the weapon at all costs. Dr. Alex Sterling, now at the helm of the Pegasus, led a team of human scientists and soldiers into the unknown. The journey was fraught with danger, the path laid out by the artifact's map, leading them through treacherous asteroid fields and uncharted star systems. Emma, Mike, and Sarah were at his side, each contributing their expertise to the mission. "According to the map, we are heading into uncharted territory," Sterling said, studying the holographic star chart. "We need to be prepared for anything." Emma nodded, her fingers flying over the console. "I've programmed the ship to adapt to unknown environments. But we should still exercise caution." As they ventured deeper into space, the team encountered their first challenge, a dense asteroid field that threatened to shred the Pegasus. Mike expertly navigated the ship through the debris, his eyes focused on the viewport. "Hold on," he warned, as the ship rocked from the impact of smaller asteroids. "This is going to be a rough ride." The team braced themselves as the Pegasus weaved through the field, Sterling's heart pounding in his chest. They emerged on the other side, the ship's hull scarred but intact. "Good job, Mike," Sterling said, clapping the pilot on the back. "We made it through." Their next challenge came in the form of a rival empire's agent ship. The Zyran vessel, sleek and deadly, appeared on their sensors as they approached the weapon's location. "Incoming message from the Zyran ship," Emma reported. "They're demanding we hand over the artifact." Sterling's eyes narrowed. "We can't let them have it, not without knowing what it's capable of." He turned to Sarah, the historian. "What do you know about the Zyran and their intentions?" Sarah shook her head. "They're a secretive lot, but they've always been power-hungry. If they get their hands on this weapon, it could spell disaster." Sterling made his decision. "We need to outsmart them. Emma, can you use the artifact to our advantage?" Emma's eyes lit up with understanding. "I think so. The artifact seems to have some sort of energy signature. Maybe we can use it to confuse their sensors." As the Zyran ship closed in, Emma activated the artifact, and the Pegasus's systems began to emit a similar energy signature. The Zyran ship hesitated, its sensors overwhelmed by the sudden burst of energy. "Nice move," Mike said, grinning. "Now what?" Sterling's eyes sparkled with determination. "Now we make our move. Full speed ahead, Mike. Let's see if we can lose them in the nebula up ahead." The Pegasus surged forward, diving into the swirling clouds of the nebula. The Zyran ship, confused and disoriented, fell behind, its sensors unable to penetrate the nebula's thick clouds. "Good job, team," Sterling said, relief washing over him. "We've bought ourselves some time." But he knew that this was just the beginning. The weapon they sought was still out there, and the race was far from over. The galactic empires would not give up so easily, and Sterling was determined to ensure that the weapon did not fall into the wrong hands. As they continued their journey, Sterling couldn't help but feel a growing sense of awe. The artifact was more than just a map. It was a key to a power that could change the galaxy forever. And he, a humble archaeologist, held that key in his hands. "Whatever we find at the end of this journey," he said, looking at his team, "we'll face it together. We're not just representing humanity. We're representing the future of the galaxy." His words resonated with the team, their determination renewed. They were not just on a mission. They were on a quest to uncover the galaxy's greatest secret and ensure that it was used for the greater good. The journey was long and arduous, but Sterling and his team pressed on, driven by the promise of discovery and the hope of a brighter future. The galaxy watched in silent anticipation as the humans embarked on a race against time and empires, a race that would determine the fate of countless worlds. After navigating through the nebula's treacherous veil, Dr. Alex Sterling and his team finally approached the coordinates indicated by the artifact. The Pegasus emerged into a quiet system, where a solitary, unassuming planet orbited a dim star. This was the place. "Prepare for landing," Sterling commanded, his voice steady despite the anticipation thrumming through him. The ship touched down on a barren landscape, the terrain rough and desolate. Sterling, Emma, Mike, and Sarah stepped out, the planet's thin atmosphere barely noticeable. The artifact in Sterling's hand began to pulse with an intensity that had been absent before. "Follow me," he said, leading the team towards a large dark crevice in the rock face. The pulse from the artifact grew stronger, guiding them into the depths. Within the cavern, they found it, a device unlike any they had ever seen. It was a complex array of crystals and metals, humming with energy. At the center was a core that seemed to warp the space around it. "Emma, run a scan," Sterling ordered, not daring to touch it. Emma's eyes were wide as she worked, her fingers flying over her handheld scanner. It's manipulating gravity at a planetary level," she whispered, her voice filled with awe and fear. "This is the weapon," Sterling said, his mind racing. "But it's not a weapon of destruction, it's a weapon of control." Sarah shook her head. "Control is power, and power in the wrong hands could mean the end of us all." Mike crossed his arms, his expression stern. "We can't let the Empires get their hands on this. It's too dangerous." Sterling looked at each of them, his determination unwavering. "We need to use it," he said. "Not to rule, but to ensure humanity's place in the galaxy. We're not just fighting for ourselves. We're fighting for every human who will come after us." As they debated, the silence of the cavern was broken by the distant rumble of ships entering the atmosphere. The Empires had arrived. "Incoming transmission," Emma reported, her voice tense. "It's the Vrelians, the Zyran, and the Zelthans. They're demanding we surrender the weapon." Sterling's grip on the artifact tightened. "We can't give in. Not now." Mike nodded, his eyes hard. "We fight." The team prepared for the confrontation, their positions strategic around the device. Sterling's mind raced, trying to think of a way to use the weapon without becoming the very thing they feared. The Empire's ships landed, their agents advancing on the cavern. At the forefront was a Vrelian, its psychic aura palpable even from a distance. "Surrender the device, humans," it intoned, its voice resonating in their minds. Sterling stepped forward, the artifact held high. "We will not be used as pawns in your games," he declared. "This power belongs to all, not just the few." The Vrelian's eyes narrowed, its psychic probe reaching out to Sterling. But the artifact flared, a shield of energy blocking the intrusion. "The weapon chooses its master," Sarah whispered, her voice filled with wonder. The agents hesitated, their advance faltering. Sterling knew they were at a crossroads, a moment that would determine the future of the galaxy. "Join us," he said to the agents, his voice carrying through the cavern. "Together we can ensure that this power is used for the good of all." The tension was palpable, the moment hanging in the balance. The future of the galaxy was in their hands, and Sterling was determined to make sure it was a future worth fighting for. The cavern echoed with the sounds of chaos as the Galactic Empire's forces clashed. Dr. Alex Sterling and his team found themselves in the eye of the storm, their mission spiraling into a fight for survival. The air was thick with the hum of energy weapons and the sharp tang of fear. "Defend the weapon at all costs!" Sterling shouted over the comm as he took cover behind a natural rock formation. Emma and Sarah were hunched over the device, trying to stabilize its power core, while Mike laid down covering fire. The Vrelians, Zyran, and Zelthans had come prepared for war. Their advanced weaponry cut through the cavern like a hot knife through butter, sending chunks of rock flying. Sterling's team was outnumbered and outgunned, but they held their ground, their determination fueled by the knowledge of what was at stake. "Mike, cover us!" Sterling yelled as Emma and Sarah worked frantically to shield the weapon. Mike nodded, his eyes focused as he targeted the incoming forces with precision. Suddenly, a Zyran agent broke through their defenses, energy blades gleaming in the dim light. Sterling lunged forward, his makeshift weapon clashing against the blades. The agent was strong, but Sterling was driven by a desperation that bordered on madness. "For humanity!" he roared, landing a solid hit that sent the agent reeling. As the battle raged on, Sterling realized they couldn't hold out much longer. He glanced at Emma and Sarah, who were still struggling with the weapon's core. "Emma, Sarah, can you activate it?" Emma looked up, her face pale but determined. "It's risky, Alex. We're not sure what it will do." "We don't have a choice," Sterling replied, dodging a blast of energy that seared the rock next to him. Emma nodded, her fingers dancing over the weapon's controls. The device began to hum, the energy core pulsating with a power that seemed to resonate with the very fabric of the planet. In that moment, Sterling made a decision. "Now!" he shouted. The weapon activated with a blinding flash, a wave of gravitational force rippling outwards. The cavern shook, rocks tumbling, and the ground buckling. The Empire's forces were caught off guard, their advanced technology no match for the raw power of the weapon. The battle paused, the shockwave of the weapon's activation leaving the Empires reeling. Sterling and his team huddled around the weapon, their hearts pounding. Did we do that?" Mike asked, his voice filled with awe. Sterling nodded, his eyes on the weapon. "We did, and now they know what we're capable of." The Empires were quick to adapt. Their forces regrouped, their strategies shifting in response to the weapon's power. The Vrelian leader, its psychic presence undeniable, addressed Sterling directly. "Human, you have demonstrated your capability to wield this power. We propose a temporary ceasefire to discuss its future," it said, its voice echoing in their minds. Sterling met the Vrelian's gaze, his own determination unyielding. "We will not be used as pawns. The weapon will be used for the good of all, not for conquest." The tension in the cavern was palpable as the Empires considered Sterling's words. The weapon, now active, hummed with a power that could either save or destroy. Sterling knew that the choices they made now would echo through the ages. As the Empires deliberated, Sterling turned to his team. "We've reached a turning point. Our actions here will determine the future of the galaxy." Emma, Sarah, and Mike looked at him, their faces reflecting the gravity of the moment. They had come so far, faced so much, and now they stood on the brink of a new era. "Whatever happens, we stand together," Sarah said, her voice steady. Sterling nodded, his resolve firm. "Together, we will shape the future of the galaxy." The chamber was abuzz with the hum of holographic displays, each representing the diverse empires gathered in an unprecedented assembly. Dr. Alex Sterling stood at the center, the weight of humanity's future on his shoulders. His gaze was steady as he addressed the council, his voice echoing through the hall. "The weapon we've uncovered is not a tool for conquest, but a beacon of potential," Sterling declared. "It must be protected and used for the benefit of all." The Vrelian delegate, its psychic presence a palpable force, countered. "And how do we ensure that humanity, so new to the galactic stage, will not misuse this power?" Sterling met the challenge head-on. By working together, under a joint custody that respects the sovereignty and contributions of each empire. The Zyran delegate, known for their strategic acumen, proposed, "We suggest a council where each empire has a voice in the weapons management." The Zeltan, shrouded in their cloaks, added, "And humanity, with Doctor Sterling at its helm, shall be a pivotal member of this council." The negotiations were tense, each side vying for leverage. But Sterling's unwavering conviction and the weapon's demonstrated power shifted the balance. A compromise was reached. The weapon would be secured in a neutral system, accessible only by a council of representatives from each empire, including humanity. As the agreement was formalized, Sterling felt a wave of relief. "This is not just about preventing war," he said. "It's about creating a future where all species can thrive." The galaxy entered a new era, the weapon serving as a deterrent to aggression, fostering an era of peace and cooperation. Sterling returned to New Earth, hailed as a hero. His actions had not only secured humanity's place in the galaxy, but had also paved the way for a new order, one built on mutual respect and shared responsibility. In the quiet of his study, Sterling looked out at the stars, a smile playing on his lips. "We've taken the first step," he whispered to himself. "Now, the real work begins." The galactic empires, once on the brink of war, now stood united, their fates intertwined with humanity's. The future was uncertain, but for the first time in eons, there was hope. A hope born from a human's courage and the power of unity.